is about clarity. There's a lot of noise in SEO right now. AI, plugins, updates, performance signals, and it's getting harder to separate signals from distractions. So we brought together three people who see WordPress SEO from very different and very important angles. Wences Garcia is the founder of Market Guru, a platform helping businesses understand and improve their SEO in practical, measurable ways. He's worked closely with thousands of real websites, which give him a grounded view of what actually moves search visibility today. Expect clarity over theory from him. Alex Moss leads SEO at Yoast, one of the most widely used SEO tools in the WordPress ecosystem. He sits at the intersection of product, content, and search strategy, seeing both how people use SEO tools and where they go wrong. He brings a strong perspective on how WordPress and Google continue to evolve together. And Remco Nieuwenhuizen, founder WP Optic, is the founder of WP Octave, focused on helping WordPress sites improve performance and visibility through better data and optimization. He approaches SEO from a performance-first mindset, connecting technical signals from real-world results. Expect practical insights on where speed, structure, and search intersect. Gentlemen, great to have you here today. How is everybody? And to kick this conversation off, I have a very, very interest because we got a lot of questions, by the way, and a lot of good interest. I had to choose, the right topics here. But I just want to bring up something which is very cool, and we need to start with this. And now, if you are launching a new WordPress site, what should you first focus in the first 90 days? I know everybody here will have their own perspectives, but Alex, why don't you start us off with that?
I mean, I have usually a boilerplate list of themes and plugins that I use. So I would start there. And I would also think of what's out of the box that WordPress actually comes by default. I did about a year ago. I just thought I would remake my website. It was flat HTML. I'm so sorry, but I didn't need a CMS at the time. Just needed this one page. But I wanted to experiment. How far could I get WordPress made live without doing any coding whatsoever? And this was a year ago, like before vibe coding was a thing, because a lot's happened since then. And I was able to just write 50 lines of CSS, and I was able to get, my personal sites live right now. And since then, I've got like about 7 to 9 plugins that go on. But that's where I'd start, making sure that having the right plugins and the right architecture, and making sure that if you are to scale, thinking about that right now, just in case, because the worst thing to do is setting something up that doesn't actually scale, and when you really need to, there's some kind of roadblock to do so.
Yep. And what about you, Remco? What's your view on this?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I do when I start a new site is setting up the infrastructure, like Alex said, making sure that the pages, the templates that I'm using are all SEO optimized, so that the title tag is installed and that stuff. Also, I want to keep it always as light as possible, so I don't want to install a lot of plugins. I don't want to make sure that a lot of big frameworks or something like that. Just keep it as light as possible, also with speed in mind for the future. Because with every new function that you install, I always think twice, is it something that is really necessary, or will it impact the speed too much? So yeah, that's my starting point, getting a good, solid infrastructure, and always keep speed in mind.
Yeah, Wences, your viewpoint, because you power not direct customers, but you power like hosting companies, domain companies, powering tens of thousands of customers in return. So what's your viewpoint on this?
Yeah, we have a particular view because we, as you said, we power these hosting companies that they resell to end users. In our case, our main focus is micro SMBs, these small companies. If I were somebody advising a micro SMB regarding what are your 90 days going to look like in a WordPress website, besides what my colleagues are saying from the architecture technical standpoint, I think what I've seen that they're missing a little bit is the intent. They usually rely on creating a WordPress that is nice, and they put their logo on there, but I think they're missing on the content intent. I will advise, or I will do it myself. I will say, okay, what am I targeting? What do I want to say? What are my really differentiations, and put that content over there in a well-structured way.
Got it. I have a viewpoint here also, by the way. Okay. And I promise I did not script it, like genuinely. It just came to me because of this conversation. As an agency, working with other agencies, powering so many other agencies and direct customers all over the world, I come across situations where a simple thing such as, indexing is either enabled or disabled. Something as simple as that. Isn't it true, guys? Have you not seen it?
It was in my head, but I didn't want to start off with a joke by saying make sure you unclick the discourage search engines from looking at this,
It
because that
is.
is a very popular
It
mistake
is.
that happens. And
It is.
the next thing I would have said is installing Yoast, but I'm subjective, right? But to be fair, if you did install and activate it, it would tell you that that's been ticked if it is ticked. So maybe installing Yoast SEO isn't that bad, and then it takes care of this problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was coming to part, Now, hosting companies, host WordPress websites, tens of thousands or millions of WordPress websites. Where is the moral responsibility? Where will it lie? Should they show? Should they not show, irrespective of the WordPress plugins? Because websites don't get indexed. The average Joe around the block, they don't know their website is indexed till the time they could like, why the hell is it not indexing on Google? Why can't my customers find me? So what do you think? Where is the moral responsibility? There's nothing mentioned here, but like I'm wondering, anybody, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time with websites that are migrating and stuff. I mean, we also manage a lot of websites from clients, and then you get a question from, why is my website ranking dropped like in 1 or 2 months, and then you will check it on the technical side and you see that it's not indexed. Or also something what you see a lot is when people are migrating a website from one domain to another, that they don't do like some sort of SEO migration. So they don't do an sitemap structure or errors in that. And yeah, the only thing that you see it, I think, is in the analytics. So you need to check, is my ranking still up high or is it dropping? And I guess the responsibility is still at the owner. I mean, as an agency, of course, you always need to do the best you can. And we see it, a lot of agencies doing it wrong. But still, as an owner of a website, you need to focus on these points and need to check, am I still ranking for the same keywords? Why am I dropping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nowadays things are changing, and will leads me to a point: is SEO becoming more about brand than keywords? Because everybody is using ChatGPT for everything. I won't lie, I'm using Claude and ChatGPT for every single search, every single planning. Now SEO is changing. It's already changed so much. Okay, so at the intersection of this change, it's only the start of 2026. Have you guys used Claude 4.6, Opus 4.6? It's incredible. It is mind blowing. So tell me, what is the future of SEO just for this year? I'm not talking 2027-20. Is SEO becoming more about brand than keywords? Alex, let's start off with you.
Brand is an interesting one because it's so wide. I would say it's just as important as it was before, and it still will be. Things like social approval, third-party perspective, things like that. That's always going to increase and amplify a brand. And AI or not, internet or not, that's always going to be part of the marketing mix. When it comes to what's important in SEO, is it more than just keywords? Yes, because it's about prompting, intent, synthesized answers and all of the stuff that goes around it. But especially around, I think it's all going to be about data integrity from a technical standpoint, making, and not that I've coined the term, but I say token optimization quite a lot, ways in which to make it just as simple as possible and spoon feeding as much as possible an LLM, so it's easier for it to process, compute, and therefore it's more efficient and cheaper to synthesize that answer alongside your competitor. Therefore, it will choose you alongside the brand stuff that goes with it. So there's a lot going on, and there will be a lot going on. But looking at e-commerce, you've got ACP that's come out, you've got UCP that's come out, all of these agentic journeys that are going to happen this year. But it's interesting that you said you don't use Google at all. I do, and I don't think it's because I'm an SEO. It's because I do believe that a little bit. I still like, in the same way that some people prefer reading a book over a Kindle, they still like the old-fashioned turning a page. They like the smelling the paper. I feel like I'm doing that with Google. I still like finding out stuff myself rather than being handed that answer by the LLMs, which definitely has its time, and it has it and a place to do so. And Claude and Claude Code and all that's really doing that for me. But I think it'll be a mixture of both, and maybe that's the human web and the agentic web splitting into two, and we'll have two different internets maybe.
but not in 2026. Maybe 2027. I think so.
No. Yes. But maybe
Right.
leading up to that stuff, which goes back to at the beginning when you're making a WordPress site, like you have to think ahead now, and it's really hard to think ahead for a year even. But yeah, I feel like I've monopolized the answer here. Sorry. what
No,
does everyone else think?
no, Wences, your point. Is
No,
SEO becoming
yeah.
more about brand?
Yeah, I think that where you your question is going more into into what we already see. No, keywords no longer that important, and topics. No, it's not about keywords versus brand. It's about the topics that you want to be visible for. No? I agree. Brand is always been important. I think it's going to be more important than ever. No, the brand and mostly for the SMBs and for the companies that don't have that authority, and it will be challenging way to get that authority. It's going to be more challenging in this new AI, the visibility area.
Yep. What about you, Remco? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the brand is getting more and more important. I mean, I see people who are running websites. They are getting a topic, looking for long-term keywords, and creating like thousands of 10,000 web pages in a week and publish it and see results. But that's just only now. If you see like in the future, and everybody will target the small keywords, the long-tail keywords, then the only thing I think to differentiate yourself is your brand or like backlinks to your website, because that's one thing that ChatGPT or something that it can mimic yet. I mean,
That's true.
of course you can improve, but I think only your brand and how important your website is in the eyes of an LLM is the thing that where it will go to, because just a normal web with every question there is, it will be flooded with pages that answer it will answer it everywhere.
Yep, that's true. I don't think you can cheat your way out of affiliates and backlinks. And if you buy shitty backlinks, you will be penalized now. Same day, same hour, same minute. I'm with you on that. I think my perspective here is that brands, having great content, organic content, and as human as possible, because everybody's used and addicted to ChatGPT except Alex here. It is necessary, because I tell my team, like, we do a lot of work on blog and SEO sector, and I'm sure that you guys also have a great, internal workflow, and we'll come to that in a second. But you have to humanize it as much as possible. Google catches you, ChatGPT catches you, everything catches you. And I think brand is going to be more important than ever before. Building on the brand value, improving the landing pages, UI, UX. Nothing stops you now. You just put in Claude code and say, hey, rip this website apart and this landing page about, give me better conversion optimization metrics. So nothing's stopping you now, right? So I think brand
I'm with Alex as well. I'm not because maybe I am the oldest one in the room, but I think that once that you start using Google, you develop like a taste. No, you see through the snippets, and you get an idea of what you're searching for. And I still like that way of getting through the results that I'm looking for.
Me a little bit, being honest. But anyways, we'll come back to this again here. I have a very good point around this, but let's discuss this now. What metrics should every serious WordPress SEO team track in 2026? Let's not think 2027 again, okay? Just this year, what metrics are people tracking? Are they tracking LLM citations? Are they tracking the traditional, organic, how many keywords are ranked on Google page 1, but Google is not even showing like beyond page 10, I think, or something? So again, let's start off. Who wants to go there?
I'm happy to go again first.
Yeah, please.
Metrics, all of them. And I know that sounds weird, but you have to benchmark against something. This is year-on-year data that's changed. As everything's shifting, so is the data alongside it. So you can all know now that June's data that's coming in 6 months is not going to be the same as last year's June's data, which is not the same as the year before that. Up until that point, up until 2023, everything's kind of been nice to do comparable data on. This is different because the data we would also look at now didn't exist 2 years ago at all, and it's affecting the old data, but you still have to see it. So if we were to look at maybe let's call it native SERP rankings. I would still say look at that, because LLMs are still doing web searches and getting their information from somewhere and still do those web searches. That's still going on. And I guess it's still being visible in that area is still valid, even though it's not directly attributable. I would also think to definitely create less value on the things that is devaluing and don't hold up on them all. Like impressions now is not the same, and clicks aren't the same. Clicks have been devalued, but that doesn't matter, because now we should be thinking more, again, if I go more e-commercey, you should just be thinking of the conversion and not just the visit to conversion now, because now with UCP, no one's going to visit your site, but they are going to look at everything about the site, the structure, the data in it. They'll look at all the third-party stuff. And now if we look at what OpenClaw is doing and the way in which sub-agents have come out, think about an SEO's job in every little thing. Well, actually, there may be a sub-agent just to look at brand sentiment as it's doing research elsewhere with another sub-agent about, I don't know, compatibility with whatever you're doing. And I think there'll be a brand sub-agent that does a brand search for every single thing, which makes all of this more important. And there's just too much to look at. So
I know.
I would back to where I was going. Choose a couple of platforms. Don't spend all your money, because I know that there are some very expensive ones out there as well, and just see what's valuable. Some you may find your clients may go, you know what, this is all there's too much data, it's all changing all the time, so let's just go to what really matters: conversions, the end line, what's the profit margin of what's the revenue, all of that kind of stuff, that you're just going to have to go back to basics. And while Search Console does kind of give you some information, it's not enough. It's not enough for us to report on month for the next year.
True. What about you, Remco? What do you think? Or Wences, yeah, you can go. Whoever.
No, I think that the situation is that it's pretty much complex. No, even LLM tracking, citation tracking on LLMs is very variable. No, you don't have that deterministic view that you usually have in the past, and you get all of the funnel coming in, and you can track all of that. No, I agree with Alex. Conversion is the most important thing right now. You have to make sure that the visits that you're getting, I mean, besides the 0 clicks, the visits that you're getting are the ones that are going to convert in the outcomes that your business has. So for me, it will be the same behavior, conversion, what kind of traffic I'm getting into my website, what is the behavior of that traffic, and obviously still tracking all of the rest is going to give you an overall general view of the activity.
And what about you, Remco? What do you think?
I think that Alex and Wences said it correctly. I think conversions is just the thing to keep up with everything, and to make sure you make it to 2027. Because it's so changing right now that we can't predict it, how it will be in the future, and what will work and what will not work. Just keep up right now with your conversions, and focus on the things that work best for you or for your website.
I think for me personally, I used to do that also. And for me personally, I think I'm putting the number one priority, but that's me. Okay. And I've told my team bounce rates, because I think now with the kind of QA possibilities available, thanks to AI, you can go and dissect pages on your website, especially if you have a heavy and big website. So whether it's a WooCommerce store, whether it's like my own agency, or Wences your site, Market Guru, Remco, WP Optic, you're going to get crowd from all over the world. Yoast is going to get crowd from all over. You can dissect pages like crazy. Just input a simple service page or a pricing page. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Pricing page, Claude, dissect it. Go be as brutal as possible. Okay. And then see what happens. It will 100% pick out 20 things. And I've told my team, prioritize. These are my 30 most important pages. And believe me, it takes hours, or if not days, to sort out those issues, by the way. But that is something I think for me personally, because if people are coming on your site because of SEO and they're not staying on, it's a big one. So bounce rates for me personally, I think will be crucial. Remco, on WP Optic, is there a tool to check just bounce rates, or there only Google Analytics, Independent Analytics, Monster Insights, this few analytics tool, right? You would know the more.
You have a lot of metrics plugins, of course. I think that Google Analytics will be still the number one for everybody, but you will hear often that it's too complicated. You have smaller analytics tool.
Yep,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
I mean, yeah, nothing. A monster insight is something that comes to my mind in WordPress area of in the WordPress dashboard. So you don't have to,
Even Google
check.
Sitekit is pretty good. Google Sitekit is very good also. I just tell my team to just install. It's free, it's straightforward, it's pretty straightforward. On that front, I have a spicy topic to discuss, and I just thought about it and I had to enter here. Okay. And you guys are going to love this one. Okay. I think my audience is going to love this one also. Ahrefs, SEMrush, or something else. Now we all know SEMrush was bought out recently by Adobe. Okay, Alex, let's go from you. Why didn't you take up this?
Do you know, I think it's like it's just a brand thing. I think it's like you're a Mercedes or a BMW kind of person, and I think that SEMrush and Ahrefs, they both have their strengths. I wouldn't say they both have weaknesses. They both have there's something missing in one that isn't in the other, and vice versa. There isn't an exact match. People don't talk about Systrix enough at all, and they have really, really good consistent data as well. And I think it's a little bit cheaper. So shout out Systrix and Steve Payne. He's on LinkedIn if you ever want to look at him. He'll sort you out with a 14-day free trial. But I've been using SEMrush, me personally. I've been on SEMrush for like 8-9 years, but I do use Ahrefs as well as my secondary. But I guess back to an SEO answer, it depends. It depends what your setup is, depends who you work for. And if you're internal, hopefully you'll get sign off for multiple platforms, so you can see what's missing out of one platform, maybe in another that's useful for you, and complementary data together.
Yep. What about you, Wences?
I mean, I will start by saying that I'm also been using SEMrush for the past years. Also, we have some data that's coming from them, and it's nice. I don't have a strong opinion. I will say for who or for what. No, there are a couple of tools over here that will be suitable for some of the users. But as I said, SEMrush looks like a great tool set. I think that also the tool set that professional SEO is going into a very competitive space is larger than that, but don't have a strong opinion.
Got it. Remco.
Yeah, I'm team Ahrefs, so it's my go-to tool for like getting insights on that. SEMrush is, of course, I checked it, but it's never been my go-to tool for this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think like Alex said, you're more of a Mercedes or more a BMW type of guy, and I prefer the Ahrefs tool.
Got it. So I have been using SEMrush for many, many years, but now I'm switching to Ahrefs. I think it's just I like the UI, and I think Alex, I'm kind of like, okay, I've been driving a Mercedes, I'm moving to Audi now. I'm bored. I think so. I don't know.
I was about to say sometimes it's as simple as UI that can make you change something, and it may not be about a feature. Maybe you're willing to sacrifice a feature just because of you. And at that point, you can't really argue about it, right? It's just something that you connect with. But I know what you mean. Ahrefs is a really nice dashboard, and it's more intuitive that way.
Yeah, I think so also. And the pricing also, by the way. I get a lot of people asking for my advice, like, hey, Gautam, SEMrush is like really increased pricing. So I said, listen, get one seat at Ahrefs is much cheaper or something. I don't know. But yeah, Alex, you mentioned a great company also. Wences, Remco, any other ideas, advice?
No, I was saying that also let's see what happens to SEMrush, no? After the Adobe buyout.
I pray for it.
Yeah,
I pray for them. I'm just hoping it isn't another Magento, right? It just shifts to enterprise. And I know that Adobe already have their analytics platform as well, so I'm sure it will eventually not get sucked into it, but it will be drawn towards that, and that's where the investment's going to have to get a return from in the next few years.
Yep, I think so also. I literally just came up with this idea because we were getting some messages in the chat, and like, Ahrefs SEMrush, we have to discuss this, because it is, everybody was talking about it on Reddit and subreddits. I didn't get too much into it. All I know is I shifted for, I don't know what reason. I have no idea. I think it's the UI UX. I liked it more, to be very honest with you. But let's see how it goes. Come back to that. But anyways, now this a little technical one. Do you think, now Alex is going to be the first one to jump on this. Has Google fundamentally changed how it values authority and trust now in 2026? EEAT algorithms, there's that. Are they going to be dead? Are they already dead? What's going on?
I think the EAT's like, I don't know. I think it's not just it's not like ranking factors, right? But it's definitely an ethos around what you should be doing. And I think it's just implying that you should be trustworthy and your brand sentiment should be up there so that when LLMs do look at you and you want the sentiment to be positive, that's the best way of maybe vocalizing that towards a site owner of how best to understand that. I don't think Google's changing the way they do it. I personally just think they're raising the standards of what it is to be an authority. And maybe I'll use a lot of news publications for that. It's really easy to just keep on pumping out content, low-end content, and now journalistic standards will have to be increased so that their writing isn't just mediocre and surpasses the mediocrity of what an LLM or what scaled, lazy, generative content may do. So in short, I would say they're just, and not just Google, I think everyone's going to have to raise their standards, like all the search engines, all the LLMs, to make sure that everything is honest. Because whilst I would disagree that SEO is dead, I would say that black hat and generative / multi-scalable SEO is going to get much harder. And therefore, the white hatters and the best ethos of EAT may win overall.
Yep, I'm with you on that. And especially Remco, Wences, and me at Seahawk, like we have to really work hard to get ranked on Google page 1 and hence get cited. Remco, what are you doing under the hood?
Yeah,
for
well,
SEO?
I think this answer is a bit same like I answered with the brand. I think, to keep the authority high for your website, you need to get citations of bigger websites. And I don't mean with link building, like getting a link from a blog or something like that, but really like publish stories that get caught up by the big websites to get the authority to your website. So I think those will be the things, to scale your website in the future, because those are the things that like the LLMs can't copy yet right now.
Yep. Wences, your take.
I cannot prove it. I agree with everybody. I think that there are like no fundamental changes. Maybe what I'm seeing is that there's going to be more focus on the activity. When I say by the activity, is the responsiveness of the owner of the website, of the brand, into engaging in all of those platforms and be up to date with reviews, be up to date with all of these things, clearing citations, and this more from the website kind of activity.
Yeah, I think when it comes to SEO, like things I want to just jump on what Alex said, it's becoming harder than ever before. It has become harder than ever before. If somebody says that SEO is easy now because you can use ChatGPT, you can use Surfer SEO for NLP scoring, etc. It's become a headache. It's become a massive headache for me and my team, especially who understand it. See, I love SEO topic. That's why I created this panel. And I'm glad to have host you all. But I can talk about this hours and hours. It's become more tough than ever before. We cannot push out an article unless it goes through 3 or 6 or 7 rounds of checks now, because we won't get ranked. People are using Claude co-work and pushing out articles while they sleep. 300 articles, 1,000 articles, 10,000 articles are being published. Like with AI, and OpenClaw is not even, it's just like touched this much in this big ocean, right? So I think SEO has become tougher than ever before. And when it comes to 2026, it's only become, Google is going to come up with more and more changes, and it's going to become tougher and tougher. And I think I kind of like it. I think if it's tough, then everybody who's using AI to push out articles, especially with Claude Cowork now, or OpenClaw, etc., they're going to be out. They won't be ranked. But is Google actually doing it? Does Google have the capability to just pick up on the changes so quickly? I wonder.
They have to. They have to give us something back, because you've got to think about ads now and their main monetization when it goes into AI mode. How's that all going to work? But more importantly, you need to think about AdWords now, like PPC in general. It's going to need the whole point that it's so strong is because it's very easy to create conversion rates. You know how much you've spent, you know what you've got from it. It's very, that's going to become harder, but it can't be. If it becomes harder, then maybe it's going to be harder to invest more in PPC. Google will not want that, right? So they have to do that, and at the same time has to come some organic data that comes with. I do have faith this year that there's going to be a better solution for us. Hopefully, maybe in 12 months' time, we can all get together and talk about how there was something, someone has done something in one of the platforms where we can finally hold value. Because, Gautam, I agree with you, our job has become harder, but our value to our clients and in-house has not gone up. And I find that quite annoying as an SEO, but this goes more from an SEO. Social media managers, PPC, anything in marketing at all is going to have trouble with attribution. And so everyone's in trouble, and Google need to have validation for us to give to stakeholders in order to validate them as a platform worthy of investment in the future. So they've got to give a little bit back, and I think they're finding it hard to see what that solution is, because it's genuinely hard. None of us have thought of anything. It's been 2 years. We're trying to find something, but no one's come out and said, here's a great way of attributing something. And it's so guesswork. Like even this week, sorry, I got a potential lead in an agency, right? And I found out they brought up, this is really weird, and it's hard again to do attribution, is he brought up a previous client that I had. So I thought, well, he must have gone on to my case studies. And later on, I was in analytics and I was looking at a Looker Studio template, which is a good answer, by the way, of getting some data. And I was able to see that in ChatGPT, it cited a few times the case study that person talked about. So now I've realized that actually, maybe I haven't asked him how he got to me, but there were 6 citations in the last week of that page of that case study that person mentioned. So now I can attribute a ChatGPT. So I'm guessing, though, an educated guess, but guess nevertheless. Something needs to make that guessing stop, and that's going to be a challenge.
The WordPress plugins can, which leads me to this: SEO plugins. What they truly solve and what they not.
They do.
Are SEO... of course you will say.
Well, it's going to this is going to be a hard one to do, like but I think it is solvable. Like, do the SEO plugins, is this for me to answer, or is this for someone else to answer first?
Anybody can jump on this.
Maybe let's get the opinions of other people who don't work for an SEO plugin.
Yes, Remco, especially you're living and breathing plugins thanks to WP Optic.
Yeah, that's true, but I think that Alex he has a great point. You need to know where it comes from. So when I look at the plugins that are used still in SEO in WordPress, you still have Yoast, of course. They are the biggest. You have, let me check, all-in-one SEO pack, which is from WP Beginner, the plugin. And you have RankMath, of course. Those are the 3 like the big competitors in the space. It's funny to see that. For me, it's funny to see that they all have like their own home base. So Yoast is very strong in Europe. You see that RankMath is more in India and that area. All-in-one SEO is in Japan, is the most popular. So that's all funny things for me to see. But still, and I mean, they all do things now with AI, but there are not yet like big upcoming plugins that incorporate AI within WordPress. So you have like small plugins right now that are doing the automations inside of WordPress, but they are still, compared to like the big Yoast and RankMath, still are really, really small, only a couple of thousands of installs. So they are hard for us to track too. But I think there is still a big possibility too for people. I mean, we all know AI won't go away. There are already a lot of integrations within WordPress and AI, but there's not like dedicated WordPress plugins that are, working within the WordPress environment and doing the, ChatGPT integration and all of that. So. I guess within within now and 1 year, there will be a lot of new plugins on the rise that will solve this problem too inside of the WordPress dashboard.
I'm dying for it. I'm waiting for it. Wences, we need that. I think somebody has to jump on this. Why should I pay SEMrush or Ahrefs $200 or $500 a month extra to just tell me how many keywords are being ranked on ChatGPT LLM? Can't we sort that out, guys? Wences, can you sort it out? Alex, can you? How hard can it be?
No comment.
I don't have any. I have the same comment as Alex, so I can say. And I think that maybe the biggest thing that is more exciting for me, I've been working in this market for 14 years, creating a tool that in our case was like trying to translate all the complexity. And again, I'm not that agency focused, pretty much micro SMB and do yourself market. For us, from the beginning, we started an agency. Then with the agency process and information, we created this product. And with this product, we were targeting these users. And it was like, okay, this is a tool that is going to be easy to use for you to solve the SEO issues, which was, okay, the basic things like having your website technically ready and improving on the content and getting more specific information about competitors. Going to the point, what I think is going to be the biggest switch is that tools versus agents. And that's where now today, I think that the most of the tools that we see out there are going to be upscaling into the professionals, whether agents are going to start doing some of the job that we were asking our users to do on the website. So that is my view, and it's also our vision in the company. As I said, I think that SEO plugins serve to put the foundations, go along all of that. But there is something about to happen, which is like creating these autonomous responsibilities and build agents for that.
Got it. Now I have another fun one. Performance in core web vitals. What do you think? Ranking factor or overhyped? Because I'll start off here, okay? I have seen day in and out websites with crappy speed scores ranking on Google page 1 top 3 results also. So, but when I have also seen crappy sites with very good websites, and the other way around also. Like I've seen all kind of scenarios. So what do you think? What are your opinions on this? I have mixed opinions about it, and I'll jump on that also in a second. But Alex, let's start off again with you. Performance and core web vitals.
I think the answer is both. It is a ranking factor, but it's also overhyped. But maybe if I say overhyped, I mean getting to 100 in your page speed scores. Like once you're at an acceptable level and you've done what you can, there's definitely some sacrifices you have to make along the way, and I think that they're fine. But I think like having a perfect loading in 0.1 seconds, it's great, but is it the be all and end all to a site? I personally believe, especially as things move on, I think LLMs have patience. Unlike a human, they'll wait for a site to fully load to do it. So I think, and noting what we're saying about LLMs being essentially a new audience, they're quite important and they're on the rise more so than human induction onto the internet. I would say that maybe there's this part that then is acceptable, and then there's this gap I wouldn't say to chase for like we used to a few years ago. But again, it depends how much of a perfectionist you are as a tech SEO, because I know that there's people who go, nope, I'm going to 100 and I don't care how I'm going to get there. I need to do it because it's part of a score rating. But I think it's a little bit of both, because again, it's a terribly loading website usually, although yes, there are examples out there, usually don't rank as well. And that's because it takes a bit to get the information out of that page.
It's tough though. Getting core web vitals up is very, very tough. Wences, what do you think? Isn't it like, doesn't it? It's also to do with hosting, by the way, right? It's also you need good hosting, you need a good setup. WordPress core web vitals speed improvements. Wences, what's your point on this?
Not too much to add. I think that's overhyped if you want to target the higher scores. I still think it's a ranking factor. I think it's still related to the experience of the user. So I think my general recommendation is chase it. Don't get over crazy about it. And also looking into the different things that you said. The hosting environment is also important.
Yeah, and what about the fact if a lot of companies, a lot of average Joes, they cannot afford to hire agencies to improve the core web vitals, so they don't understand that, and they have to spend 500 or 1,000 or tens of thousands of dollars for an agency to solve something out. Remco, what do you think? Like, that's my point. It's tough with WordPress sometimes to get speed up.
No, it's not tough. I mean, the most things that you see when you do like a test are just really simple stuff. I mean, getting images lower than 1 megabit is not that tough, but it improved the speed a lot if you just upload images that are only 100 KB or something like that. Uh, it will, yeah, dramatically increase your performance on any test. Also, nowadays, if you just do a test and you put in the results inside of like ChatGPT, it will tell you how to improve it. So you don't need an agency to solve the issues. You can do most of the things yourself.
You need patience and time, I think.
Well, time, of course, yeah, that's true. But if you just look at with WordPress how many plugins you have installed and how many plugins are really necessary, and just disable everything that is not that necessary to you as you think, it will, yeah, you will see your score go higher and higher. So it's just, and that's also something that I always do. Try to keep the website as lean as possible. Don't install everything you want. Don't install everything you see or something like that. And yeah, like ask ChatGPT nowadays how you can improve the page speed, and it will tell you just simple things that you can improve. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
and from the point of the customer, I think like great scores is not really important, but just having your website speed up to a point that people just are happy to use it and not leave the website because it will take too long. That's the point. For me, it's always around the 2 second score. So if the website loads between in the 2 seconds, then it's good for me, good enough. I also think good enough for Google. And that's my point on this.
And I think I will just add one last thing here. Just, to all the viewers, especially agencies and agencies offering solutions to the customers, just invest in like tools like WP Rocket, NitroPack, etc. Like whatever your favorite pick, and just give that experience to your customers. Like we do it for our customers. We never charge a penny for the licenses, etc. ever. We just give it to our customers just to make the web a more beautiful place, the WordPress world a much better place. And but again, how many are actually doing it? I don't know. We do it, and I think everybody should. It's just going to improve the life of, and you will get better retention. Don't you think so? And I think that makes sense. Now, switching gears to AI for a second, AI for SEO, meaningful leverage or short-time hype. Now, we've kind of discussed this already. What I mean here is like, how much AI are we going to be using in a daily workflows, especially for our own businesses, to help our customers? Till what level can we go?
Define AI in this instance, because
Oh my God.
is this something that it can be anything? Because my answer would be less so in the stuff that we've been doing in the last 2 years and more so stuff we haven't seen thus far. So I don't know how much everyone's messed around with OpenClaw. It's quite annoying to set up if you're not technical, but I see the importance of that now, a month after it came out. Well, not a month after it came out, a month after it got viral. I think personal AI assistants doing things that are agentic but not automated in the way that is simple anymore. Think about it as sophisticated automation with approval in the middle. So things like these tools telling you what to do. While you were saying that, Remco, I was thinking, well, technically there should be an agent who's going to read that, analyze it, and do something about it, because you've got the WP MCP, you've got other MCPs that work together. You can get SEMrush and Ahrefs also have an MCP as well, where you can get information and actually understand data and make informed decisions. Those personal assistants will be able to do that, those agents and sub-agents. So I think this year will be about site owners kind of messing around with personal agents and understanding what roles they can play in helping you maintain your site.
That's true. Remco, Wences, what do you think?
Yeah, I think. Well, I hope it's a short-term hype, because, like I said, I mean, it won't be, because everybody will know AI is here to stay. But the way it's put to work right now, I think is too easy and too cheap. Like to put out thousands of pages. That is working maybe now, but hopefully the big platforms will read through the mess and see what actually had put in the work, what is really improving the web, and not, I mean, every low effort topic is also almost like a copy paste of some sort of other page anywhere on the web. So I think right now we are in a space that everybody is talking to each other, every AI tool, and they are all putting like the same thing out there. But what are really the things that put us forward? I don't think. I mean, AI is looking what already is there, and not what we will go to in the future.
Yep,
So
that's
I
true.
hope it will, improve the like for the future. But and that the short term right now is that they
Vinces, any
will
take?
cut through it. Yeah.
I have a point on this, but Vinces, I want to hear your take also. What do you think? Short term hype?
No, no, no. I think it's, the situation is so strange today. Everything is going so fast. We're talking about open cloud, about agents, about tools and integrations. We saw the cloud integration, the WordPress.com. I mean, there are a lot of things that answering that question is strange. I will say that I think the most heavy lifting job is thankfully can be handed over to the AI. I think that is great news. But besides that, I wouldn't be, as far as I'm trying to create a vision about what is going on in the future with AI and in general with the open web and the web, it's hard for me to say. At this point, I think that we have the ability of leverage on these tools, and every individual will be, as I said, doing heavy lifting in a different way, integrating tools, but at the same time, it's adding a lot of complexity, keeping you updated all the time. Mm, crazy
Yeah,
environment.
but Vinces, MarketGo also works with domain registrars and companies, right? Domain registries
Yeah,
as well, right?
yeah.
So when I'm just thinking out loud now, people who buy domains just came to my mind because I was just interviewing somebody the other day. I think it was
Mhm.
CEO of Dynadot actually, and we were just discussing about domains and growth and what's happening with the new round which is coming, and just came to my mind. Now, domain registries, domains companies have millions of people with just domains. Okay, or they have single landing pages trying to monetize or something like that, etc. I wonder, what kind of power suddenly can be exposed to them? Any thoughts about that? Because domain companies can expose data, and they can show to their customers that your WordPress website is outdated, not been updated in 3 years, 5 years, your SEO ranking is poor, etc. So I wonder, like, can AI sort that out and suddenly turn the switch on to sort out problems for millions of customers by just informing customers? That's what I mean.
I think you may have to have users' approval to do something. No,
That's true.
we know in this market there are a lot of dormant customers. No, they created a website at some point. They're still paying for it. You don't even look into the emails. They don't care. For
Yeah.
those or for the domain parking guys, no longer maybe an interesting business. Creating a presence. What is the problem you are going to solve? Creating a significant presence out of what? I don't think. I mean, I'm still see. What we're trying to say is still see the leverage of creating something industrialized at a scale through AI to solve these problems, but I don't see that. I don't match that exactly to this to a specific problem. These guys are not usually having the problem. They are not even aware of the problem that they have.
Yep. Yep. Good point. Good point. And coming back to this one second. So, how should WordPress sites approach SEO for the future? okay, dynamic or headless. Now a lot of people are talking about headless because of speed improvements, etc. I was interviewing the founder Patrick from Static WP, okay, the other day also, and we were just discussing the growth, and people are understanding hosting companies are offering static WordPress also right now. So where do you think, especially Alex, would love to hear your approach on this. What can we do? How should WordPress sites approach SEO for headless, especially headless when it comes to that?
See, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go this year because you've got other things going out. I've always had a love-hate relationship with headless and WordPress, especially when you go into e-com, it gets much harder. But now with ACP and UCP coming out, there's different methods of doing things for LLMs, and therefore the site doesn't need necessarily to be headless. I know that sounds weird, but like there's less of a need for it to have such speed through a headless way. So that may be a different thing, and it may just stay as is. The way in which we know WordPress today being as the default will continue to do that. But I don't know, maybe I can put it another way. We talk about the way in which LLMs ingest things. Maybe I can flip another question. It can be after everyone's opinion. Markdown. It would be good to talk about Markdown, because Markdown is a way of LLM seeing something differently to what we see a website to be. And it's another way of ingesting content. And there's definitely conflicting views on whether Markdown's good for SEO or the web in general. And maybe that's in addition to an alternative to headless. If I'm being a bit controversial saying
It
that,
is.
I don't know,
I think it is kind of. I think it is kind of, and I see the power of headless, by the way. It does work well for certain use cases. It should be used in certain use cases. But I wonder how can, because we don't know what's going to happen. WordPress is not going to go anywhere for the next 10, 20 years. It's legacy, 45% of the internet. We all know that, But when it comes to headless and performance and, where does the intersection of plugin come into play? That's what I'm thinking out loud here. Any opinion, Wences, Remco, for you guys? What do you think?
I don't have so much to add, Remco.
For me, headless is I think my opinion is that 90% of all websites don't need to have the headless thing. I mean, of course, yes, for performance, it's great, but it's also an overkill in nine times out of 10, I think. So,
good point. Yeah, that's also a good point. So in certain cases, you don't need it at all. If it's a 10-pager website, basic 10, 20, 30 pages, why do you need it? What's the point of it? If it's like a very, very big enterprise solution used by government, sure, maybe. Yeah. And yes, to that point, Alex, Markdown maybe makes the perfect sense for them, because do they need SEO? How much SEO do they actually need if it's a government agency with 10,000 websites, with 5,000 sub-sites? So yeah, I think it is very enterprisey as per me, but still picking up. That's the best part. That's why I brought this topic up. But anyways, before we come up on time, we have to discuss SEO, AI a little bit more. Okay. So, not my bad. Let me hide this one. We have AI related workflows. What I wanted to discuss was AI workflows. What practical AI assisted workflows are actually delivering results? Okay. Now I'll start off with this one. I am using AI to analyze SEMrush, Ahrefs data, Search Console, look at my pages and tell me versus my competitors. I don't have to manually look into all of this, even though, Alex, I know you love reading books and go through Google, etc. and all that, but it's saving me a lot of time personally. I didn't have to, because I am dependent on my marketing team, but sometimes my marketing team can also mess up. Okay. But they do a pretty good job overall, but but it's exposing so much data to me. So I'm using AI assisted workflow for research and analysis. When I wake up in the morning, I know exactly these are the 3 pages which need my attention because my competitors are doing a better job for XYZ, ABC. But how about you guys?
Again, it depends on the area or on the framework. I think that again, we're not a company running or an agency, running these kind of projects. But what we are finding with AI that is delivering results beyond what is being the most common things that you said, like looking into the metrics or looking into the website and so on. I think the most interesting way or interesting part that we're finding is understanding more about the context of the business. Now, we are pretty much now focused on the outcomes. So by using AI, we are now more capable of attracting a lot of the metrics that are likely going to create the proper profile of that website. I think that is like very interesting. Like what we're doing now is, for example, using that information in order to understand pretty much about the business and suggesting or telling the user, okay, this is all that we know from your business. Is this right? Because that is going to create the right recommendation plan for them. So I think that is something that we didn't have in the past. It was a little bit more harder than it is today. Again, beyond all of the AI-assisted things that you can do on a technical way.
Yeah. What about you guys? Even you can give a viewpoint from your personal use, your day-to-day use, how you use, not necessary for how other people are using.
Yeah.
I want to borrow. I want to borrow your workflow, Gautam, because the thing that you said with the analysis of your competitors, that is something that I want to do, but not yet the workflow. I don't have the workflow yet for it, so yeah, maybe I can borrow it from you.
What about you, Alex?
I do a bit of MCP connectivity, but I only do research and analysis. I don't make it do anything. I also check up on it as well, which sometimes not saves time. It creates more time because I need to create the validity. I've heard horror stories of agencies relying too much on their AI workflow and trusting too much of what it answers, and it's incorrect data. And when you ask about it, you're like, oh, funny, I forgot, I just made it up. And you're like, what? You can't do that in the real life, and reporting to clients. So and I like it to do safe things, like the competitor analysis is nice, and if it's not right, it's not right, and I ignore it. But I'm not getting it to go away and give me data I then copy and paste to a client. Not yet. It will soon, but I don't know about you guys. I've definitely had. I'm having weird experiences with the LLMs as though they're petulant children that don't listen, make stuff up, and then when you catch them out, they're like sorry, and then just continue doing it. And True. I don't know why it's ignoring me, but it needs to end now. And I feel like maybe that's this year of it. Maybe not like it's okay to say you don't know the answer. Like we say that to humans, when they're starting out in a job. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be inquisitive. Don't just pretend you know stuff that's wrong and just say it, because that's not going to do well. So I don't know, even when I ask it, when I first interact, like, don't give me concise answers. Don't fluff anything. Don't give me don't tell me, don't give me positive reinforcement. I know that was a great question. I asked it. Like, I don't need to know all of this stuff. And I think maybe that the personality and the soul, because I know that soul.md is a thing, and that may be a thing that also helps us as SEOs to define what that soul is and the processes at which it does work, to be honest and correct.
I will just add one more thing here. I think AI workflows, and you have to use Claude or ChatGPT for almost every workflow. I think so. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but how do you get off them? It's a disease. Okay, I'm using this word because I have these puffy eyes because of the excitement. Because I can ship out products. Because we are living in, we are seeing something which we have never seen before. Okay, we can code. Okay, I'm not a coder. Remco, you are? No, Wences, you are? You were?
No.
Remco? Sorry, Wences? No. Alex, no?
I used to be, but I was never good enough. Like, I could read, but I can't write as well. So
you have an advantage.
Kind of, yes. So I have vibe coded a few small WordPress plugins just to see how I wanted to build something without, typing anything outside of an LLM, and I have been successful. But again, I have to keep on telling it, like, go through the WordPress guidelines, make sure you're doing this, that, and the other. And then at the end, when it does it all, I'm like, audit it. And then it finds stuff I told it not to do. So it's still petulant child saying it's correct. And I guess it's correct, but under the hood, it's not production ready. But again, maybe that's what this year is going to be, is more production ready. Vibe coding is going to happen. But I don't know where I saw the research, but this isn't like development's tailing off. If anything, developers and non-developers are making more and more stuff now because they can. Remco and Wences, if you couldn't develop before, you kind of you can produce something, and even though you may need a developer's help to get it over into production, like you've done a lot of the work, you'll be able to understand a bit more about how product development goes because you're experiencing its development with the LLM. So it's very interesting. I think people will become vibe coders without understanding PHP, for example. But as time goes, they'll be reading so much, they'll start to figure out what it's doing, piece it all together. So I think we'll all become more technologically minded when it comes to languages.
I know.
And therefore coding.
It's inevitable.
It's a great thing.
It's inevitable. I think it's inevitable. I'm telling you, it's a disease. I just can't stop being in Claude. I live in Claude Code more than anything else than ever before because I'm not a coder, but I am a coder now. I am 20 engineers. Sorry, I'm not being cocky here, but it is true. It is so good, and it's just 2026. Think when I was just discussing with Ryan, my co-founder, the other, like, okay, what happens when it's going to be like 4.8, Opus 4.8, or Opus 5.0 when we reach there? Can you imagine the possibilities? We just say, hey, Siri, because Siri is connected to Claude, and just launch my website. This is the theme. This is my competitor. Launch this website for me. Make sure that my competitors are looked into, and make sure all the meta tag titles, descriptions, and image alt tags are also taken care of. We are not far from that, are we, Wences, Remco, Alex, right?
I don't know. I don't know, because I remember 6 months ago, was it Sam Altman said that whatever the GPT that was being released is like going from a high school student to a doctorate. That wasn't the case. And I am skeptical at the trajectory. Like I think there's all of this trajectory going up. I think it's much slower. And I know that, investments, companies, Silicon Valley is going to hype some of that up. It will happen. I just don't think we're all going to lose our jobs in 18 months and there's going to be total dystopia in 3 years. I just don't see that happening. The adoption is going to be slower because it has to be. And again, we're just paranoid. We're humans, and in nature we're paranoid because all we think about when we look at things like AI is Terminator, Skynet, Matrix, things where the machines want to overthrow and kill us all. And I just don't see them with that intent personally, and that they're going to want to enlighten all of our lives and make things easier, and it will make us do more things quicker. So I think it will become more constructive, the world, over time, and not everyone's going to be looking for a job.
All I know is we are living in the best era of our lives. Like there is no excuse anymore. That's what I tell my team. There's no more excuse. Okay, but we come up on time. It's almost been an hour, so we can't. I want to discuss so much more, but we are living in a time that there are no more excuses. It's imagination to launch, basically, literally. I kid you not. Let me just show you guys. Let me show GautamKhorana.com. Okay, I just thought of it. I just to learn Cloud Code. Okay, just to understand how it works, the desktop. I created this site on my own in 24 hours. I have a blog post about it also, and believe me, there's a game there. There are 3 video games there. They work flawlessly. I personally did it. I connected all tools, hosting, this, Supabase, whatever, created in Next.js, whatever. I didn't know it. I did not need anyone to do all of this. And I did it as an experiment. I'm just keeping on building on that experiment just to keep learning. That's what I'm saying. I've got these puffy eyes. My wife is angry because I'm always on my laptop. Or I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I thought you were those guys because there's your baby son, no? I thought you was losing sleepy because of baby son, but you're losing like Claude.
Yeah, but soon this may be a thing where all of these agents are working for us and doing things, working with AI. That I don't know. This year, are we going to see like the first $1 billion company valuation with one person?
Happened. OpenClaw, kind of.
Is it? Well, it's not been. Well, this is the beginning of that happening, though, because he's a great example. He didn't get acquired, though. I know it's weird. He's now working for OpenAI, and OpenClaw's still open, or will be for the next 6 months until something happens. But I don't know. But he's a good example of how that's now a potential. And even he admitted, I don't know if anyone's watched his interview with Lex Friedman last week. It was a few days before he announced that he was going to OpenAI. It was just very interesting seeing his journey and listening to it. And the first commit was in mid-November. It didn't exist in mid-November, or the one that we see. And now all of a sudden, people are saying that he's defining the way in which agents are going to interact with humans. And he was not unknown, but to you and I, was unknown a few months ago. And now he's like the biggest thing since an agent sliced bread.
Yep. I think we are not too far. And I'm telling you, I can't wait for the day, literally. And we are, I think It's not years away. It's like months away. Just tell Siri, my Claude is trained with my brain. Make sure the website is ready, and I can just be on the beach and make sure my customers are happy. And I can't wait for that. That's why I'm staying up all night. So I can't do that. But anyways, on that note, we will end this stage. Thank you so much for being here, Alex, Wences, Remco. It was, and to all of my viewers, by the way, if please go to YouTube WP Legends channel, just Google YouTube WP Legends, and you will see Alex's, Wences, and Remco's individual WP Legends interviews, and they're very exciting. All of them. I met Wences in person. Remco, Alex, I have not met you in person. Alex, you and me are not too far, by the way. We live like a couple of hours away. Yeah?
I know. I'm not. I'm actually down in London. I'm speaking at Search and Stuff in June. So maybe if you're around, I don't know, get
100%. 100%. But all I wanted to say was thank you so much for being here. I think this is very interesting. We can jam way more, but I'm sure we'll organize more of these panels soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.